Hey Warners, it is time for another Just the Tip on Tuesday, Just the Tip Tuesday. I'm Gina Trimarco with Tipton, Results, Carolina Improv, and of course, Women Your Mother Warned You About. I'm really inspired this week by this tip because I just got back from Dallas, which is like a second home. I'm in Dallas quite a bit because we have several clients there, and so I travel there a lot. And a couple things happened on this trip that were kind of ahas for me about when you don't live somewhere or you're not from there, you don't necessarily belong there. How you behave is really important. And it's not just about visiting a place or living in a place. Just think about in general, if you're new to anything and other people, they're used to being there, they're used to doing something, and it's new to you, you need to have a little bit of respect about it. And let me kind of break it down for you a little bit in a different way. So many years ago, when I went on my first trip overseas, to Europe. It was like a girls' trip to Europe. And we had this amazing tour guide who said, girls, you are going to be in someone else's country. And it was like 4 countries we were in. You are going to be in somebody else's country. And it's not your country. So you need to behave with respect in their country. And you can't complain about it or make fun of things. You should at least attempt to speak the language, but it is their country and you need to adapt to their culture. And it really stuck with me for years. And throughout my entire career, that was always my thought process in anything I did. Anytime I worked for a company, anytime I was working for a different type of client, I'm adapting to them and that place. And that happened for me too when I moved to South Carolina. And Southerners can be really angst about, and now I kind of get it. I'm not a Southerner, but I claim the South as home now. And there's nothing that drives them more crazy than when the Northerners or the Yankees come down and say, well, this is how we do it up north. They don't want to hear that because we're not up north. So it's it's something that you can adapt to anywhere that you are, that this is, if it's not where you're from and it's not your place and you're new, you need to respect it and be gracious about it and have gratitude about it. And why I got triggered about this is that on my trip to Dallas, I really have so much gratitude for the people in Dallas, because especially the women, I have such a huge network in Dallas because they have been so warm and open and receptive and receiving and introduce me to people and take me under their wing, very similar to when I moved to South Carolina. And it's because of that graciousness of them accepting me that I have a lot of clients there now and a lot of friends there. And I almost feel like it's my home. And I just always stayed open-minded and never, ever thought about, well, I'm not from Dallas, I'm from Chicago. I'm not from Dallas, I live in South Carolina and we're different. Never. So think about, how often have you done that and not been open to a situation because you think you know it all and you have this experience, but you don't realize that every area is different. And anybody who's worked in corporate, this might be familiar too, especially if you work in the type of business where you have offices in different cities. Every city is different and nothing is the same, and customers can be different. So you can't assume that how you do things in one area that you can do it the same way in another area. So the tip is have gratitude, be open, be receptive, and realize that when you're new to somewhere, it's not your country, it's someone else's, and you have to adapt to it. So that's my tip for you this week, is adapt to where you are and be gracious about it. And have a great rest of the week. See ya.